Hello and welcome back to another FPL video. Now in this video we're going to be talking about transfer plans for Game Week 21. Now Game Week 20 is still underway, but the main set of fixtures are now finished, so it's just those two double game weeks left. So now is a good time just to have a look at Game Week 21 to see how our teams are doing. Now looking at my team for Game Week 21, to be honest I'm not too fussed with it. I've only got the one free transfer, so I want to really try and keep it for Game Week 22, but there is certain areas that I would like to change. Now, if Man United and Arsenal weren't playing in Game Week 21, my team would probably look a lot better, but with those three players going against each other, it is a bit of a turn off or put off for me, having them in there. Kind of glad I don't have two Arsenal players alongside Martinelli, because then it will be a bit awkward for me. But my main area is the goalkeeping situation as well. Kepa's got Liverpool away, not confident there. And his replacement, Danny Ward. I mean, Leicester have been awful since the break, so not confident in that area too. But I still do have a lot of money to play with. Still at 1.7 million in the bank, so there's a lot of changes I could make if I fancy making them. And again, obviously with Game Week 20 still underway, if I do make a change, it won't be till after those games, because you never know. There could be an injury to a Man United or Man City player, which I don't really want, because the last thing I want to do is have to make a change due to an injury or anything like that. So the first player I was going to recommend was Martin Odegaard, and after that performance against Spurs, that's more reason to do so. But I also figured Arsenal are really dominating the league right now, so it just seems silly just to recommend the one Arsenal player. There's several Arsenal players you could go for right now, and obviously they have this. We had this tough fixture run, and technically it's still going on because we've got the Man City games as well to play as Man United in 21. But you saw them yesterday against Spurs. They absolutely dominated, and there's a reason why they're top of the league, and it's about time we looked into more Arsenal players. Now, myself, I've only got Martinelli, so I'm a bit down on the Arsenal players right now. Now, I really want to put Odegaard in my team, and I've been trying to since the World Cup, and I bottled it during the World Cup. I keep bottling it. Game week 21, I don't want to put him in, if I'm being honest, just because it's United. Everton away though, I would put him in for that. We'll see how it goes. But he's definitely one player I want to put in. He's really, really underrated, if I'm being honest. There's been a lot of FPL people out there saying don't go for Odegaard. He's not the player who's going to get the points. Well, currently he's got the most points in midfield. He's absolutely smashing it this season. 8 goals, 5 assists. He's averaging nearly 7 points a match. That is pretty impressive. But then you also got to look at it as another point. If you don't want to go for him, or if you want another Arsenal player, Saka, for example, got an assist yesterday. Unlucky not to get 2 assists, really. He's also scoring goals. He's getting just under 6 points a game. He's also smashing it. Martinelli, who I've got, been a bit quiet in the last 2 game weeks, but when he's quiet, someone like Odegaard scores. When Odegaard scores, Martinelli scores. So if you look at those 3 players especially, they scored a similar amount of goals. Martinelli's a bit down on assists compared to the other 2, but they're very similar in terms of ratio of points per game. So I've got Martinelli right now. I would like another player. Obviously, Saka's a lot more expensive than Odegaard, so he's probably the one player that I'd definitely look at getting there. And then you've got Ben White in the defence. Now, out of all the defenders of Arsenal, I've got him on here just because he's by far the cheapest. He's only 4.7 million. I mean, it's not a massive difference compared to the centre-backs in Saliba and Gabriel and Zinchenko, but he is the cheapest. He's got 5 clean sheets this season, 2 assists. He's playing every game, which I'm sure that shocked a lot of people. I thought when Tomiyasu came back, he was going to take the spot, but Ben White's managed to keep the spot, and he's playing really well. Ever since he's come back, we obviously left England early, we thought, well, what's going on here? But it doesn't look like anything's changed. He's playing well still. Obviously, tough game coming up as well, Man United. I'll probably leave a defender for now, but against Everton, Brentford, maybe. I mean, Brentford's a tough place to go to at the minute, or even though they're playing at home, but Brentford are a tough team to play against, so I'm not confident about having Ben White, but if you want him on the bench, he's only 4.7 million. Even if you put him in, Arsenal could easily get clean sheets in these 3 games coming up. So Ben White's definitely somebody to look at. And then finally, there's Nketiah. Obviously, Jesus is out injured. Nketiah is playing every game. He scored 2 goals since he's come back from since we've come back from the World Cup. Now his points per match is really harsh in here. It's 1.8 because at the start of the season he just kept coming off the bench, get a 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point. So he's really unlucky there. But yeah, he's so cheap up front. He might be worth a little punt. Obviously, next game I keep saying United's hard, and obviously game week 23, Arsenal do have a double. So this is probably the main reason why I'm probably recommending go for an Arsenal player. They could easily beat Man United. I think this is really going to show the Man United game how good Arsenal are. If United get beat by Arsenal, let's say 2-3-0, I think we all have to look at Arsenal and go, whoa. Yes, the Man City game will be hard, but they've only got to play Man City twice for the season. I know they're not far apart, but after that, you can really see Arsenal running away with the league. Well, I think Man City won't be far behind, but they really run away against the other teams. So getting 3 Arsenal players right now, it wouldn't be the end of the world, and they do have a double in game week 23. So I'd definitely look at some of these Arsenal players, particularly Odegaard and particularly Nketiah, because those two are dirt cheap out of a lot of them. Obviously, Odegaard is going up in price fast, so you might want to get him on early, or actually might not be able to afford him. But yeah, those are the Arsenal players I'd definitely recommend maybe looking at putting in your team. Right, so next up I've got Morgan GibbsWhite here. Now, in my last video, my team selection drafts, in one of my drafts, I actually had Morgan GibbsWhite in my team. I bottled it with him. I decided not to go with him. And again, like the Odegaard, it was a big mistake. He got 2 assists against Leicester. He played really well. He's been playing really well recently. Played well in the cup games as well. He's definitely Forest's best player, I believe, by quite a mile. He got 2 assists in the last game, like I said. He's only scored 2 goals all season and he's got 4 assists. So it doesn't sound great, but these next 3 fixtures look good. Bournemouth away. Bournemouth are really struggling since we came back from the World Cup. Leeds, they're not in the best of form, and Forest are at home. And then Fulham away. Those are 3 good teams to play against right now, I believe. GibbsWhite, he seems to be on fire right now. He's midfield on the game, but he plays up front for Forest, so there's a high chance he's going to get some goals and assists in these next 3 games. He's not even 1% owned, so he could be a really good differential, and he's really cheap. Now you think about Almiron at 5.8 right now. You could just, who's not in the best of form really right now, if you fancy taking him out, just take a punt on GibbsWhite, and it could work out beautifully for you. So that's why I've decided to put GibbsWhite in here. So next up, I've gone for Solly March here. Now this looks like it could be a knee-jerk reaction just because he got those 2 goals against Liverpool. But if you have a look at Brighton since the restart of the World Cup, they have been on fire. Now Solly March himself, he scored against Southampton, he scored against Everton, and now he's just scored 2 goals against Liverpool. So the guy is in some serious form right now. But I could have also done like I did the Arsenal slide, where I could put 3 or 4 midfielders alongside him. Pascal Grobe, guys, has been excellent this season. McAllister, I mean, he did brilliant in the World Cup, and he's done brilliant this season for Brighton. And then you've also got Mitamino, I think that's how you say his name. All 4 of those midfielders this season have been outstanding. Now, the reason why I've gone for March is the Trossard drama, really. So at the start of the season, March was playing a wing-back role, so he wasn't really getting up there, getting assists and goals. But now Trossard's not in the team right now. March is playing further forward, and he's showing us how good he is up there. 4 goals and 4 goals in 4 games? That's really impressive. When you look at the fixtures he's got coming up, Leicester away now. Obviously it's away. It's not always going to be the easiest tie, but Leicester in shocking form right now. Now could be a good time to go for them anyway while they're down. Bournemouth in game week 22. Again, another team in terrible form. And they are going to be at home as well, Brighton, so that could be a good game for them. And there's Crystal Palace in game week 23, a team that is very hot and cold, but defensively really aren't great. So there's a good chance that he can get a goal or 2 in that game as well. I mean, getting 2 goals is asking much for him, but any one of those 4 players that I mentioned earlier can easily go into your team because they are looking really good right now. Obviously, there's rumours that they could blank in further fixture games, but I'm just focused on the next 3 fixtures, and those 3 games they've got coming up look really tasty. So that's why I'd recommend not just March, but any other Brighton midfield right now, because they are on fire. So finally, we've got up here Rodrigo of Leeds. Now this guy has been, well, pretty sensational really this season. Now, when you compare to how his first season went with Leeds, no matter how much he cost, it did look like he could be a bit of a flop for Leeds really. But this season, he's been brilliant. He's got 10 goals already this season. That's pretty impressive. He's only 5 behind Kane. And he went on, what, a 7-game scoreless streak after that shoulder injury. And he looks like he's back in form since we returned from the World Cup as well. He's been a real nuisance. He was unlucky, really, not to get that goal against Villa, just offside. But yeah, when you look at him, he's a midfielder on the game, but he plays up front for Leeds. That's just what you want as well. You get extra points there. Obviously, he gets that clean sheet point as well if Leeds keep a clean sheet. So there's another bonus for him. He's only 7.5% owned, so he's not highly owned, and he is only 6.4 million. So if you're thinking about, like I said earlier, maybe getting rid of somebody like Almiron or somebody, or if you got some money in the bank and you want to upgrade, let's say an Andreas Pereira or somebody, I'd definitely probably look at Rodrigo. The next 2 games look good. Obviously, Man United in game week 23 is not easy. It is like a derby game though for them, so anything can happen in that game. But with game week 21, they've got Brentford at home. Obviously, Brentford are in good form right now, so you could argue this is a tough fixture for Leeds, but I'd like to think Leeds are desperate for a win, and these are the kind of fixtures where you can see maybe they're nicking a win here. Brentford, they're in great form right now. They might just do a little slip up, so Leeds could get a win there. So obviously you look at the person to score for Leeds, the person you look at most is going to be Rodrigo. And then game week 22, they've got Forest away. Again, Forest sounds good on paper, but it is away, so Forest, they might be better at home when they are away, so could be a tougher game for Leeds. But again, do I think Forest will keep a clean sheet? I don't. Do I think Rodrigo can score on that? I do. So he's got 2 good fixtures coming up. Now he's averaging just over 5 points per game, so he's doing really well. He's only got 1 assist, which is surprising. I thought he got more than that, but it is what it is. And more importantly as well, he's also on penalties. So if Leeds were to get a penalty, Rodrigo's going to be the guy to take it. So for his price, for how well he's doing as well this season, he's definitely a good candidate to put in your team. And there you have it. Those are the players that I'm possibly looking at putting into my team for game week 21. Now I do hope you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next one.